Jesse James West has been popping off recently. If you look at the timeline of Jesse James West's channel, it's amazing to see how many turns he's taken in his career. There are so many inflection points within his career that makes it something that we need to study. If you can learn anything from this man, it's that being yourself and having natural charisma can take you just about anywhere. What once started as a lacrosse channel has now evolved to fitness entertainment. And at the same time this is happening, his audience has evolved as well. Some are upset for some of his recent videos. He's starting to experiment with some different types of content, and some people aren't happy about that. But knowing the person Jesse is, he's able to evolve. So I'm sure he'll be able to figure it out. Or will he? Today we're gonna answer that question and more. We're gonna look at Jesse's life, look at his YouTube channel, and find out some of the biggest moments that have made him successful, right here on The Science of Winning. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to go into the Jesse James world. Let's get started. Before we get into his channel, I'll have you know that he has a channel that's built on lacrosse that he doesn't even talk about. He mentions it in a couple podcasts, but it has 159 videos. Before he ever started his channel, he was grinding lacrosse videos for 159 videos. Think about that. I mean, look at all these videos that he had to film, he had to edit, he had to make a thumbnail for 11 years ago. If you made 159 videos, don't you think you would kind of know a couple things before you start a new channel? I think so. And I'm sure some of those videos he made after he started his other channel, but it's almost like that analogy, that study, the famous study that they did. A group of students, one of them has to make one pot for an entire semester, works on that, and another group is told to make as many pots as possible. At the end of the year, who do you think had better pots? It was the people that made as many pots as possible. Not only did they have more pots, more pottery, they also had better quality pots in terms of aesthetics, in terms of use, in terms of how it looked, like how it's made, like all that, versus the people that just spent all their time on one pot. So use that as an analogy for Jesse James West. Now let's take a look at his Instagram. As a fitness YouTuber, they come with a lot of different skill sets versus just a normal content creator. Having the discipline of going to the gym every week, doing legs, chest, whatever their split is, what their bro split, if they have that baked into who they are as a person, having a weekly, bi-weekly upload schedule is second nature to them. That's kind of the advantage of being a fitness influencer, is that discipline's already there. Especially with Jesse James West, him already being a D1 college athlete, Lord knows that he had some discipline already before he started his channel. And just look at some of these videos. I mean, these were doing well, 20K views, 11K, 9K. So he's consistently getting around 10,000 views a video on his Instagram. So he already is kind of building that following well before he even started his YouTube channel. So how did Jesse James West go from D1 lacrosse player to where he is now on YouTube? Well, it all started when he was at his university, at his college. Now, from the outside looking at Jesse, I mean, he's crushing it. He's playing D1 lacrosse. He has a YouTube channel. He has an Instagram page that's getting tons of likes, tons of shares, tons of views. From the outside, everything's looking great. But on the inside, it's a whole new story. On a podcast that Jesse was on, he explains that this was some of the darkest moments of his life. The mental demand of having to do D1 lacrosse, full-time school, and uploading to a YouTube channel made it impossible for him to really have any life. Now at this point, Jesse had a choice to make. Do I keep doing what I'm doing, burn out, and eventually just quit everything? Or do I make a switch? What Jesse decided to do was change from a D1 school to a D3 school, giving him some more time for school and YouTube. Because D3 athletes are only allowed to practice for 15 hours a week, that gave him some wiggle room in terms of having more time to allocate to YouTube. And Jesse said that was one of the best decisions he's ever made in his life. Now at that point, he starts Jesse James West, the YouTube channel. So this is the first video that he decided to do. And as we see throughout the next couple months of this kind of phase in his journey, it's mostly just vlog type fitness content. Jesse's really getting a feel for what type of content's gonna resonate with his audience. So now Jesse is left D1 lacrosse and has more time to allocate to his YouTube channel. He's really trying to figure out what type of content is gonna resonate. Is it lacrosse? Is it fitness? Is it more personal blog stuff? What's gonna land? And as you can see, Jesse is slowly raising his baselines week after week, month after month, slowly growing that core audience. But Jesse later said it wasn't until this video here, college athletes attempting marine fitness test, where things really started to change. The next couple of videos really gave him a gauge for what he thought was possible with YouTube. He tries The Rock's 7,000 calorie diet and even tries Mark Wahlberg's routine for 24 hours. Now it's interesting because whenever there's an influencer talking about their past, there's always one or two videos that really stand out. And for Jesse, believe it or not, this Mark Wahlberg video, he said that was a video in his mind where things really changed. This was that video where he's like, I'm not going back to what I was doing before. I know this works. I know I can do this. I have evidence for it. I'm gonna run with it. And now we see Jesse James West really come to life. Just even looking at the quality of his thumbnails. I mean, look at this versus this. I mean, he's starting to evolve his image. He's starting to evolve the content in a way that's more broadly appealing, means he's gonna get some more views. And as you can see, Jesse James West is quite the experimenter. He soon found a lane that was not being utilized, and we will find this girl romance dating lane to be one of his most beneficial, just from a business standpoint, in a number of views. Like even look at the spread of these views. 127K, almost 1 million views, back down to 171. I mean, Jesse's seeing this, he's starting to see patterns develop on his channel, which will come in handy later. And as you know, during this whole time, Jesse has been grinding Instagram, continuing to grow his following, still getting people to engage, still finding out what's gonna land, what's gonna resonate with people. And obviously just posting so much, you're reading through the comments and you know what's landing with certain people and what's not. And we can even see the changes on his Instagram. I mean, visually, just look at these pictures versus the one that he had even just a few months earlier. It's cool to see people go through that rebranding stage. And now it's time to talk about one of Jesse's best videos. It's when he meshed working out with Tinder, and even just the view count or the like count on Instagram. I mean, it's obvious. 8,000, 8.7, 33,000, even the one with The Rock, 11. So Jesse getting this feedback not only from Instagram, but also YouTube. I mean, this got 5 million views. At this point, fate is calling Jesse's name, and this will soon be kind of the beginning of the end. I'm just kidding. But it will be the start of the next phase in Jesse's journey. One thing I want to say is he has remarkable charisma. I mean, even just looking at his interactions with guys, with girls on his channel, he has this kind of spark, this kind of twinkle in his eye that it's just hard not to like the guy. And when you mix that in the context of girls and just his talent for YouTube, I mean, it's obvious that this new lane of dating content is starting to come to light. And I'm not the only person to agree with that. I mean, this is a dating coach that made a video on Jesse James West's charisma. And I mean, it's obvious just from the view count. I mean, 87,000 views and the like to dislike ratio in the comments. I mean, people agree with him. Jesse has that natural charisma. Now, let me be clear, I don't endorse all of Jesse's content, but it is interesting to see what the data tells you, what you're good at, and what people decide to do as a result. I mean, here we see another banger, 2.2 million with that whole mukbang kind of viral sensation hit-esque type content. So he's clearly good at finding trends and latching his content onto that. So at this point, when Jesse really starts to lean into this dating arc, if you want to call it that, people start to get a little bit, not upset, but it's kind of asking the question, where's the line? Jesse being an influencer, a lot of his fans are younger dudes and pretty impressionable. I mean, even look at some of the instances of him just FaceTiming fans. I mean, it's obvious that they look up to him, and with that much sway, with that much power comes great responsibility. And I'm sure people have different beliefs on this, that's totally fine, but it is important to ask yourself the hard questions. Am I being a good influence? And in Jesse's scenario, I think sometimes he's been a great influence and sometimes he has not been a good influence. And this is kind of a season where Jesse's trying to find that line for himself. Now, I believe it was during this time where Jesse passed 1 million subscribers and started to kind of question his goals again. Not necessarily in a bad way, but when you get to that milestone, you kind of got to find something else to push for. And this is kind of where Jesse is today. He said in an interview, it's not necessarily about the view count anymore. It's more about the impact that his videos have on people. What Jesse values now is emotion. When he makes a video, he wants people to feel how he feels when filming it. He measures his success not necessarily in views anymore, but on the impact of the video. And by impact, I mean from an emotional level. Now during this phase, Jesse has done a great job at kind of coming back to what he was best at. Those fitness, educational type content that's not only educational, but entertaining. And just like any character development story, Jesse still has his moments. I mean, there were some videos he had recently, one with a popular star, if you can say that, and some people weren't too happy about that. But I think it's just the process of Jesse kind of going back and forth between the lines of content that people enjoy, that's family friendly, versus gonna work on YouTube. I mean, even with this recent video with Angela White recently, people thought that was way too far. And I would agree. I think these videos are the last we'll see for a while from Jesse, but I think just based on the past, based on the metrics of his channel, based on the videos that do well, I think we'll see at least a couple more videos like that in the future, unfortunately. But one thing is for certain, it's definitely interesting watching Jesse kind of find that line of what people will watch on YouTube, what's educational, insightful, and what's gonna get views. I hope and know that as Jesse grows, both on his channel and as a person, that his goals are gonna change as well. I mean, we've already seen this, like I said, from going from a million subscribers to now focusing on the emotion and the impact that his videos have. But I'm excited to see where Jesse James West will be in the future and how his goals will continue to change. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Consider subscribing if you watched all the way to the end, and consider watching this next video. Peace.